You've literally given the South a sliver here.
It's all it deserves. It's all it deserves, Owen.
Oh.
The Northerners versus the Southerners. Opening statements.
Hey up, I'm from Doncaster, and there's only one way to fairly decide where the north of England starts, and that is simple maths. So I've got my trusty ruler, and we're splitting the country into three. That's, according to my ruler, the north begins in Liverpool and goes all the way across to Grimsby.
I would like to say the north begins above Derby, because Derby is the home of the East Midlands Airport, no? Therefore, common sense, right?
The debate.
Being from Essex, there's only one way to decide where the north starts in this country, and that's to look at Birmingham. If Birmingham's right in the middle of the country, that means that anything just outside of Birmingham to the north is obviously the north.
Outrageous.
To me, I'd say the north starts somewhere between Sheffield and Nottingham.
Wouldn't you say Sheffield's a little bit high though? That's like north, like you're in the north. Like, don't you want to go a bit lower?
No, because then if you go any lower than that, you get to like Nottingham and like Leicester, which is like straight up Midlands.
I don't know. I would say Leicester's the north.
I think the north starts from Birmingham up, because if you're on a compass and the middle, the second you start going a little bit above the middle, it's north. So that is why it starts just above Birmingham, that's the north.
But then you're completely eradicating like a whole section of the country.
You need an even amount of country on top of Birmingham as you do underneath it. So we got Oxford is probably the start of the south, and equal amount straight up. Yeah, you got it, Sheffield.
No, hang on, wait a minute.
I think if it came down to it, right, the people in the Midlands, if they had to choose between being northern and southern, they would choose northern.
I think you're probably right there. I think you probably are right. However, I don't think that's a decision they should have to make.
Would you say Nottingham is to the north, or would you say it was straight Midlands?
It's Midlands. They're all four.
But it's the north of the Midlands.
The north of London is still London. What are you talking about?
No.
If you were hanging up a picture and I said to you, right, hang that picture in the middle of the wall,
Yeah.
and then you put it, I don't know, about a foot above the middle of the wall and went, this is still the middle, I'd say, no, you're wrong. That's north of the middle of the wall.
Once you get to a point in the country where people start like saying hi to each other on the bus, you're in the north. Not going to happen in Cambridge or below.
Okay, so maybe the question here isn't a geographical line, but it's more of a cultural thing. Maybe they're two different things.
Loughborough's straight north.
Loughborough is not north.
Oh no, you've lost me here.
Okay, we're gonna beef because Loughborough is not north.
You got Neapolitan ice cream. I think chocolate might be in the middle. You stick your finger in the middle of the chocolate. Everything above the finger isn't the north. It's everything above the chocolate.
Isn't Wallace and Gromit from, where are they from?
Wensleydale? No, that's the cheese. I don't know.
What defines a Southerner?
Scowling looks, tutting when people cut in lines but never say anything.
Southerners, we get a lot of stick for being London-centric, which I sort of believe is warranted because London is the best city in the UK, if not the world.
London, it's the Vatican City of the South, right? It's got its own slightly different...
The Vatican City. That is really putting London on a massive pedestal.
What defines a southerner? A lot of self-importance.
Oh, God.
Probably used to spending about 25% more for a pint.
Terrible sense of humour.
Know the difference between walking on the left and standing on the right, which took me ages to grasp.
You people are the bane of my life.
What defines a Northerner?
Genuine chip on the shoulder that they're not Southern, definitely.
They love a good night out.
100% true.
Self-perception of being really tough, hard men.
It's a bit cold. They never get cold. They're just used to being chilly.
just not as good as a southerner.
Terrible. How about attractive, great sense of humour, very polite, always says good morning?
Annoying then.
Draw the line.
If I am drawing my hypothetical line as to where the north starts, I am starting at Aberystwyth over in Wales. I am then going straight through the middle of the country, through Birmingham, straight through that, through Corby. We're going just beneath Peterborough, and we're going all the way through to Lowestoft.
Peterborough is like an hour outside London. That's pretty much the south.
That's an hour outside of London. What are you travelling in, a jet?
North begins from Chester to Grimsby.
That's high. So I'm going to say we're going to cut across Gloucester, through in between Nottingham and Oxford, right across Cambridge, and then up to Norwich.
That's insane.
Closing statements.
I think I'm right because I'm from the north. If you wanted to ask a person who was Welsh, where Wales began, you'd trust them. So I think my lived experience needs to count for something here.
But then I think I'm right because I'm from the south. It's exactly the same argument.
It does seem a little thin, doesn't it?
The rule that don't lie, if you divide the country into three, you're going to get the truth. You shouldn't listen to what this southern numpty over here is saying.
You're riling me up. Ben, but you are not riling me up as much as somebody from Norwich, who you are taking away their northern roots from them now.
Oh, Norwich, get out.